that's like the very greedy build. Obviously, that was coming from mid lane, but it makes PL's game absolutely unplayable. So if he wants to play more of the aura builder, like you were saying, it's pretty good.
I like to see that Execration spirits are still up. They love spamming their voice lines. Carla giving a shout out. Good luck, Longadog. I'm not sure who he's calling out, either White One or Bryle. Because Bryle is like Canadian Filipino, if I recall right. And I should recall right because I've talked to Bryle multiple times at this point. Like, it's always fun to kind of catch him off guard, test his Tagalog skills or his Filipino skills. But yeah, I mean, this is the one funny thing with Execration. They could be 0-8 in groups and they'll still feel themselves. You know, they're a very lively squad.
I love that. I really do. It's just fun to see. For those of you who are just tuning in, we are just starting our second series of the day here. It is Execration versus TSM in Group A, and both these teams really needing some wins. So we'll see, you know, who manages to come ahead in this series, or you know, if we end up in a draw. But for now, I feel like the draft is just really weird from both teams.
Yeah,
like this is so bizarre because we see like the Phantom Lancer picked into the Beastmaster, and then the Muerta picked into the Phantom Lancer. You have a 5-position Weaver here for Carlo, which, I mean, it should be pretty good at helping run down the Keeper of the Light. That is the one thing that actually seems kind of good about this.
Just what I've been waiting for.
They can just take care of the backline really fast, even from the laning phase with that support Weaver. This voice line is actually so dumb.
Dude, I don't even know what it says, but it is a good
It's like someone blaming. Oh, okay, I'm the one who's not focusing, okay? You know, it's like you're just being blamed by someone who, like, you just say, all right, fine, it's my fault, whatever.
Yeah, might be.
It's
yeah,
like
might be.
argumentative. Yeah, it's more argumentative. Like, oh yeah, you know, you're just arguing with the dude. It's like, all right, all right.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Shout out to all the finger pointers out there that refuse to accept their own mistakes.
It's never
Dude, that's the best
Ricky.
part, when you get to an end of the game and it's like been a close game, and then you're like one of the teams losing, and it's like, who do I have to scapegoat? I've got to scapegoat someone. I can't accept the fact that I lost.
Yeah, it's always someone else's fault. Even in a very even game, like that's the best stuff. Still looking at this mid, this one should be rather even from the mid, although theoretically Bob has better lane management, but a DK is a DK for Brawl. And he does start off with the early breed fire, just to apply some harass. Surprised he's not going for the stun, just to deny creeps and maybe secure his own ranged. But, you know, it's a static lane on mid, probably the least interesting one to watch out for.
I mean, Bob's got a lot of denies early on in this lane, which is going to be really good for him. But
yeah,
we'll see. Brawl can grab some denies here under the tower. Did he go? Oh, he went Dragon's Blood too, so he doesn't actually have the stun to play around.
Yeah, it's the surprising bit. I think he just wants to mitigate some of Bob's harassment, because he does have that circlet, triple Iron Branches as a universal hero, 69 damage per right click, which is fairly annoying. And it's just so easy to CS on that Void Spirit right now, so probably just looking to slow that down. Still taking a look at that bot lane now. Carlo on that Weaver, Palos on that Muerta up against Ari, on that Kotl, and Kasani on the Underlord. I mean, Underlord and Kotl is a decent lane. Chakra sustain for, say, the Firestorm spam is pretty nice. And every single time you can kind of poke Palos, he is fairly squishy in lane. There's not too much Carlo can do to help the cause there. He does go for like a full harassment Weaver with Geminate plus Sakuchi. No value points in the Swarm to help soften up. So this one could be a little bit more passive. Ari doing a good job of just constantly blinding like Palos to an extra wave of the Firestorm. And so many resources melted away from Palos already.
Yeah, this Kotl Underlord lane, I mean, we just saw it last game. It looks incredibly strong. Like this matchup specifically just seems really, really, really good. The blinding lights, the chakra magics, just constantly being able to, it's a Firestorm without any like, you know, worry about having to get mana. Like, you don't have to go mana boots early. You just rush the Vanguard. You're just big chillin'. It's good stuff.
Yeah. Just trying to fix all the issues with the Underlord. at least in terms of his spell spam early on. And I like that Kasane just goes triple gauntlets as well. Knowing that, you know, the Weaver can't harass you out if you have enough strength. And Carlos having a pretty tough time in trying to prevent that Underlord from just playing this game. The last lane that we haven't really peeked at is up top. I know our Obs was watching there for a little bit. But the lane of Timado and Whitemon and the Peel and Disruptor up against Tino and Shanks on that Beastmaster and Rubik. This is pretty stable. Like, Timado isn't going to be shoved out in lane, for sure. He has some dodge play. He can just keep farming up quite fine. You can't really get aggressive as well on TSM side, though. It is a lot easier for Execration to kind of look for lift backs and to stacking more wild axes on top. And they can look to kind of punish Whitemon if he steps it a little bit too far forward. Very squishy on that Disruptor if they can pin him down. So there is play there. I'm curious, again, as you mentioned, what Tino's build-up is. Because it's really a drums game. It's a drums of Slalom game for sure. Up against a PL, you do not skip that item at all. You can just kind of rush into it. I'm pretty sure Execration was surprised that PL comes in as well.
So he could still go into the you know, the Aghanims up there eventually, but right now bottom lane, Whitemon with a rotation around. They pull Palos back in. He gets a silence onto Ari, and that will be first blood for that Muerta. She loses her life in the process, but mid lane, the rotation from Shanks helps them find the kill there onto Brow. So Bob gonna be able to get that level 6 relatively early as a result of that. And Brow's gonna miss an entire wave of XP unless he forces this wave.
Yeah, this is a great start for Bob, and I think they've got their priorities right in Execration. Because for Execration, Bob is the launching point in almost every single game. Like, he has to have that good start, he has to have his levels up. He's the one that rotates onto the side lanes and makes action happen. So, if you have to figure out what lane to kind of enable, it is the mid. Getting that early opportunity is big. You're not too upset about Paulus dying, although he is having to walk back into lane. With his smoke, probably getting a glimpse back early by Whitemon, which you never like to see, but it does happen on occasion to the best of us.
That is sad. That always feels really bad.
Palos.
Oh, he's gonna take a decent chunk of damage here. Yeah, does have a salve though, so that is good.
Yeah.
I feel like we're just going to be waiting on the level 6 from the Void Spirit. That's when he's going to try and get active. I don't think he kills Bryle again now that he has 3 points in the Dragon's Blood, but we could see him make a play at the Rune, find a kill there.
Yeah, you've still got Shanks kind of around, looking for a stack into that secure at the 6-minute mark. I do feel like you are getting a little bit too much out for TSM down bot. Like, they're working that lane really well. You've kind of completely shut down Palos, so behind in CS. And Muerta is here that it farms decently, but it's not like amazingly fast. You kind of need the Maelstrom to feel good there, and you don't even have the levels.
And that's a haste rune for the Void Spirit. If they get too aggressive in the bottom lane, we could see him, you know, TP to respond here. The problem is you do have this Muerta who doesn't do a ton of damage yet. And you have the Vanguard already completed on Kasane, so it looks like he is just going to kind of stay mid. Continue to farm up here on this Void Spirit.
Just hold steady in that lane. They will have to accept the slower start for Palos as he gets jumped.
Lane. There's going to be the TP. The haste rune was popped as well, so Bob should be able to close the gap, but the glimpse from Whitemon, he does what he can to try and find the Disruptor in time, and it will help get that kill at least, so we do at least manage to find something. Bryle with the level 6 in the mid lane, starting to get to work on the tower though.
Yeah, you can't leave that DK alone for too long. Threat onto the objectives is always big. Got the Dragon Tail and Bob as he jumps in. It's a little bit interesting. And still not enough. They don't manage to connect with the Illuminate, so Bob's more than happy to hold steady. That relief for Palos isn't quite enough to drag him back. You are still happy about Tino having that free lane top. He is rushing that Dominator. So just looking for more creeps.
Ping and Ari on the Coddle. That's the one Bob wants to go for. And Dragon Tail comes out from Brown, just not wanting to risk anything here. So, I mean, they get a lot of chip damage in this tier 1 tower off the first Dragon form, which I think is pretty worth it considering how well these side lanes are going. Like, PL is been able to just solo farm the top lane. He did just rush a Vanguard himself, which I think is probably the right play. You don't want to have to get pushed out by this Beastmaster, and he definitely can with the constant axe spam and eventually the Helm of the Dominator, which it looks like he is going for. Yeah, he's got it.
Yep. So now he can apply a little bit of pressure on the push now as well. For Tino, he doesn't have any points in the Inner Beast, so the attacks aren't as quick as they could be. But you still have that extra presence coming out of these buffed up neutrals. So you have some play. TSM, though, they've gotten a lot of damage down bot as well, just from Kasane constantly shoving in. They're still committing that Dragon Form from Bryle down mid. It's only Carlo watching. So they're going to be able to take 2 objectives with no real contestation. That's huge. Like, the side lane take especially is massive and just
they're
taking over some of these camps.
The whole team, like, they're not going to allow you to take this tier 1 in the top lane. They're looking for Bryle in mid, though, as Bob comes on in, gets the Dragon Tail out. Shanks will get glimpsed away, and Bryle will clean up the bug underneath the tower, so he's chilling. He's going to be just fine as Kasane will defend the top tier 1 tower. They at least defend mid. It's down to 140 HP in Dragon Form. Probably going to expire before he gets another opportunity to hit the tower.
Yeah, not too much time left on that. Can't really angle their way in here for the side of Execration. They're still trying with his Invis and Bob.
He might be able to find him here. Gets rooted up by the troll. Whitemon is there as well. They jump in, manage to burst the Dragon Knight. Can it be done? The second Astral Step. It's almost enough, but a nice kinetic build. Instead, Palos is here. Takes him down with the Ricochet.
I like that Palos turns up for that one. He needs that kill. Gets his level 6 up now. Is finding decent farm into that Maelstrom to accelerate that further. They might sacrifice Carl, but he does have the time-lapse ready if need be, and does just get it off. So they're going to be able to not take too many losses. The map control is still an issue, but again, you are getting some free farm on your other cores. It does feel like Tino's going to have to deliver the goods now. Still going for the Overlord, which I suppose there's no clear solution from TSM for the gigantic Ancient Creep. So it is a smooth game for that build-up here, and I can understand why Tino is just going backward. He does enjoy his micro-heroes. No, his visage off. And this Beastmaster.
He's got a nice little triple stack, quad stack of the Ancient Creeps and 4 points in the Wild Axes. Should be able to clean that up very easily. Mid lane, however. Alright, Bob will dodge out the glimpse there with the Dissimulate, so he's chilling. Pretty good stuff. Yeah. Tino is going to just catapult to net worth here once he cleans this up. This is huge for him.
Yeah, I mean, free Vlad's Aura still feels pretty good to play with. Bob is rushing Dagon. He's already bought a part, so I'm keen to see this burst play from Bob. If we don't get the Ags rush on Tino, but we get the Dagon rush on Bob, that's fun.
That's an interesting one. I mean, it will help him like find kills onto Disruptor and Coddles. I mean, this Void Spirit does a lot of burst damage at the moment, and they will find Ahri here. And that should be a pretty easy pick-off.
Yeah. Doesn't cost them much. They managed to start lining up for top. Again, you've got the wave clear here from TSM with Kasane. Firestorm more than enough. They're getting so much space out for Tomato to farm, and this is something that TSM enjoys, although they'll jump in.
Yeah, they will indeed. And Brow with the TP on up here. The question is, can he actually find a kill? I mean, it's not easy because Carlo can just time-lapse, and of course Bob is super tanky. They will just turn around onto Kasane, and that's a massive kill. They do get 2 for this. The stolen 4 points in Firestorm as Ahri is just going to try and TP back on the Twin Gate. They're going to follow him as Palos was already set up here. Pops that Pierce the Veil, trying to just bring down Ahri, and it should just be a matter of time before they grab him here in the trees. Is yeah, Carlo, he's going to go for the deny maybe. Yeah, he will do it.
Just lose vision for a little bit. Carlo not able to chase up and finish that kill. So you take away a little bit of the wins there for Execration. You're still happy overall. You take the tower, you take this kill on Kasane, you melt through that Underlord. And again, Execration are playing this really aggressive draft. The build-up for the Overlord for Tino, it's going to be really impactful. Like, this is a fast Overlord to take. This is like a naked Overlord rush, though. But again, the lineup of TSM doesn't have a clear for that Ancient Creep.
Yeah, not at all. Not yet.
There's no way you just clear that off. So the added durability, the added damage, added control in the push, it's going to be massive for Tino. And this is also one thing for Execration. When Tino does have a good game, he does make use of that early investment well. Like, one of the two ways to really shut down Execration is to give Bob a bad lane or give Tino a bad lane. Either or. In this case, they both have pretty good lanes coming out.
Alright, Tomato finishes up his defusal, which does give him a pretty huge power spike on this hero. So we'll see if he can, you know, find some kills with that at the moment. But Helm of the Overlord's done. It's being delivered right now for this Beastmaster, and this is going to be very difficult for him to play around. I mean, that's such a fast timing, just over 13.5 minutes into this game.
Again, he's been giving a lot of room. It is like, again, no boots, no nothing else, just a couple of circlets in the Iron Branch and the early Quelling Blade, but this is a lot of durability he's bringing out here. Keen to see what he goes for next. I think that's where things get interesting. Like, do you go for any more durability? Do you go for the Aurus? Or do you just go to the Ags? Because, I mean, they smoke up here with that reveal, and you know what? Bob's Dagon is coming out now as well. Yeah, it's a little bit choppy, but it's not choppy enough to chop up this action. As they start shoving in mid with that dominated creep. And you've got the Dagon for good old Bob here. He has a double damage read as well. Should be able to try to run down if they see the opportunity. And this is where the squishy supports can be punished. In fact, Tomato...
I mean, Arlo is low on the Weaver. They didn't bottom lane. Take the Twin Gate on Brock. Follow those. They do manage to grab kinetic field for everything drop on his and it gets the glimpse. But Belt hit this once again, and Kasane will instead fall as well. Ooh, looks like yeah. Go ahead, take it for me, John.
No problem. Very clean fight coming out from Execration. Again, sacrificing Palos for a lot of this. Using him as bait almost, but they've got the burst, man. Like this DK right now with nothing else but the Blink Rush, which we did expect for Bryles. He did need to kind of set up, get that control for the team. It does mean he's not gonna last against this magic output. This is where that Dagon of Bob shines. It's a really good solution for that. It also just, I suppose, instantly bursts down the illusions as well. If you're worried about any particular one, helps identify that peel a little bit faster. And they just go straight into the Roche off the back of it. Again, Overlord up, Aura's ready. They've got the physical output. They've got the Swarm ready to go. They've got Palos around here as well. This doesn't take too long. TSM, it doesn't feel like they're in any position to fight. Again, they've got this control. But it's just down to this damage, right? Look at how long it took them to kill off Palos down bot. The damage issue for this team, it's going to be up there until Tomato's ready to really right-click heroes down, but that feels like it's still a ways off here.
Yeah. I really expected them to have more damage at the moment, but it's not really coming through. Like, you have Kasane's Underlord, who is kind of just this big tank, but you also just have another big tank on the Dragon Knight. That being said, it's kind of all just being nullified by this magic damage, right? Did you manage to find the Rubik here? And that's a great way to open this fight up. Ryle will just be stuck inside the calling here. But the Glimpse has managed to find Tino, and if they can grab the Beastmaster, it's a really nice one, as Tomato's going to join the fight. Will make easy work of him, and they're going to continue the chase, looking for Palos. They pull him back, not in range there. Doesn't end up quite connecting.
A little bit awkward for Execration this time, as they didn't have Bob around. So it's not a comfy fight for them to take. And, the burst damage is not there. And they miss out a lot with just the Void Spirit hanging out on a different part of the map. Good opening for TSM to find. Get some key kills their way. Every single kill counts for quite a fair bit.
Coming bottom again. They saw Palos underneath that ward. Dude, this is one of the best wards in the game right now. That ward is so good. That being said, Tomato, I was gonna say maybe he's baiting, but I don't think he knows the rest of the team is here. They managed to catch him with the Remnant, and Tomato is super dead. I thought they were coming down here with more, and then it just ended up being him alone.
Yeah, Whitemon just bailed out, TP'd away after going through the gate. He left his carry there, and just becomes easy pickings for Execration to find. And this is honestly pretty scary. Like, the build-ups from Execration, I'm liking what I'm seeing here. Palos, he's rushing a Moonshard. Just wants all the right clicks in the world, maximize that Pierce the Veil when it's up, and try to get all this damage out with the Gunslinger in the Maelstrom. Kasane playing poke.
Bob on the backside looking for an opening. He's got that shield rune as well. We'll be able to start the fight and look for Ari now. Carlo is here. The question is, can it actually secure any of these kills? Brile, he's got to blink in a moment. Whitemon joining the fight. If they get the glimpse vision, who's it going to be? Palos gets pulled right up onto the high ground. Does have the Aegis. They will burn his first life as Tomato is trying to bring down this Ancient creep real quick. The rest of the team is nearby. We'll go ahead and drop the Static Storm. The calling does come through. It'll slow them up, and Ari on the backside just getting chased down by Bob as he grabs him with the Dagon. The time lapse out from the Weaver is going to give him plenty of space out. The mana burn from Tomato, it's not enough. They need more catch. They need this initiation from this Dragon Tail, but where's the follow-up?
It just doesn't feel like it's there. Maybe in a dragged out fight, if you get multiple Firestorm uses, it feels good. But the spells just aren't connecting the way you'd want them to on TSM, and Execration, they're just so slippery. You have to worry about Bob, you have to worry about Carlo, you have to kind of watch Shanks onto Rubik if he gets a big steal as well. Like, even just the Firestorm's nice, and if the control coming out from TSM is nice. It's not a high-pressure Rubik game. Pretty much every single spell that's easy to find is great here. And for TSM, and this itemization in Tomato, like, it's fairly standard PL, right? Outside of maybe the Vanguard going into the Manta, going into the Heart. It helps him stand up, try to burn them down with a million right clicks. I don't know if that's enough, though. Like, that's where my question mark still lies. Like, we've seen a Naga game kind of go this way as well, right? Where you hyper farm on your Naga, and I believe that was TSM as well. You just kind of hyper farm on Naga, and she becomes your all-in, but up against certain matchup, it just doesn't feel like she does enough damage. It's some of these illusion heroes are just way more sustained damage in, like, prolonged fights, and again, I just don't know if you can prolong these fights long enough when your supports are dying too damn fast to this burst damage.
Yeah, both teams finish up their Tormentors pretty much at the same time there, so the shards will be granted out to some of the supports. I'm not sure if you've caught this, but there is now a Moon Shard completed up on Palos. He just rushed this item here after the Dragonlance, which we've seen a lot of people on Muerta go for this item like fourth. You know, it is like a late game item. But Palos just says, screw it, man. I want damage output now. I want that attack speed. It's a lot, man. 400 bonus night vision also goes a long way on this hero. Bottom lane, they've managed to catch Shanks, and, you know, I don't think he has a chance to get away here. Whitemon with the glimpse, so Kasane will be able to grab that. In top lane, they're looking at taking that Twin Gate. It will get scouted out by a ward, and Whitemon instantly drops a sentry to clean these up. Uh-oh, pops the drums. Whitemon needs to be careful. The blink stun out from Prowl does find the Beastmaster. There's going to be the roar, and Whitemon in some trouble. Does get the Static Storm here onto the Weaver. They do trap him in place so they can get the kill before he gets the time lapse. It'd be great, but it's not there in time, and instead, the damage. Ryle is just destroyed by Palos, and Kasane can't get away. He's just going to get chased down as well. 3 dead on the side of TSM. They have a massive damage problem.
They do. It's just not there. Like, it's all poking and prodding. It all takes a while to kind of line up their output. Even the PL, it's a death by a million cuts, and it's just not enough. You are durable, but you don't melt these heroes in your durability frame, and they melt you down way faster. Again, going back to the Moonshard Rush for Palos, in a lot of ways this makes sense, just because it's not even just damage output. It's more like maximizing your Pierce the Veil, right? Because it's a pretty long cooldown until you hit 18. So the more hits you can get every time you pop that spell, the better it is. It's more efficient. It's just a high efficiency kind of pickup. It is really risky. Like, Palos has died a couple of times now. He lost his Aegis pretty fast. There's an opening for TSM to kind of burst that Muerta if they can find it.
They found Kasane instead, just pops the Veil immediately and just gonna lay into him. Carlo will grab the kill. they're just bleeding kills all over the map here on TSM, and Execration looking very good right now. An 8K gold advantage. You're just 20 minutes for the game.
We've got the drums coming out now as well for
yeah.
Tino. So he's got the drums of endurance and the drums of slam. And now even if you show up on Tomato, he's just gonna get drummed. That's it. He's just gonna have to listen to some very loud guy on percussion. Not the best feeling in the world.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like you get to a point where Beastmaster becomes pretty much unkillable, so the only thing you can do is ignore him. But then it's like you still have to kill this Muerta. You have to find a way to get on top of her and actually find these kills, and the only way that's going to happen is with like a DK Dragon Tail and a jump in from the Phantom Lancer. But I don't know, man. I don't feel like you have the burst is the problem.
Bob's going all in as well here, Ricky. Going for the Dagon upgrades now.
Hell
Has
yeah.
Dagon 2 flying out, if I believe, along with his Ags. So, control in the burst. Just go all in burst. Take one of these big tanky heroes out. The fight becomes really awkward with just that lack of one damage source. It does so much. Like, without the Firestorm, you're not melting heroes. Without the DK, you don't have control. You don't have that big dragon form to rely on. And the BK Beaster is still ways out here for TSM.
Right. I mean, the late game matchups here, I'm trying to think like if TSM even have the late game matchups, because Muerta seems like one of those impossible heroes to beat in the late game. She completely ignores the Dragon Knight. Like the DK is just not really effective against her. The only thing that he has is, you know, Blink Dragon Tail and eventually maybe like an Aghanim Scepter to try and just reduce her movement speed and attack speed. But because there's a Beastmaster in this game, I don't know if Phantom Lancer can actually carry this.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. I think your ideal play for TSM is try to poke and prod, don't put yourself up front, which is super weird to say when you have a DK. But you kind of want to keep juggling these heroes around from Execration, force them in. If the fight drags on and you don't get bursted, I mean, you've got really good DOTs, right? Firestorm constantly spanned out with a Chakra, a DK with the eventual level 3 Elder Dragon form. I say that. He's still level 12, and it's still like a pipe dream at this point to hit these timings that I'm talking about, but that's what you have to gun for. Just play slow in these fights, you know, use your PL to its maximum by just spamming out these illusions, melting everyone else. I don't know if that'll happen now with a drum, so.
There's so much good vision set up here on Execration, and I don't know if you're going to be able to actually take this fight near the Roshan. No, Bob has to be there. They get him. The Blink Dragon Tail comes out. The Static Storm is there. That's a massive find if they can actually bring him down, and they do. So a great opening. And Underlord will send the pit bottom, or the Fiend's Gate or whatever, just so they can bring the Phantom Lancer in. The BKB comes out from Paulus. He's trying to just bring down the Underlord, but you got to get these other heroes from the game. And Tomato, he's finally going to join the fight. The question is it too late? You go on to Blink Dragon Tail's caught the Beastmaster, but again, this dude does not care about you. He can't die. He's healing through it all, and Bryle, the one in danger, as he turns his attention on over to Paulos. Tomato doing his best, but the illusion's just instantly getting cleared up every single time, and the Muerta now turns it around onto the Phantom Lancer. He pops the Manta trying to get out. He's got the hard regen, gets the Doppelganger onto the other side, but he's still on the run. He can't escape. He is dead.
Tino, is he actually going to port away? No, he's not. I love seeing this Beastmaster versus PL, dude. It's hilarious. Of course, it's not hilarious for TSM. This is painful. As Bob respawns and finds a pick off on Whitemon. They had the right idea. They take care of the Void Spirit, and they actually don't even fully commit into that fight, right? It's only Kasane running forward, trying to get some info, trying to spam out his spells. Again, it's this concept of just poking and prodding. Forcing some control out, pulling back, going back and slowly melting and chipping away at the side of Execration, but even with Bob gone, you just can't do that. And then they suddenly just commit onto Tino, which is just not the target. This guy is not the guy you have to run down. He will just heal. The PL pick into Beastmaster again, this is why you do not do this. It's just painful. You have to rely on someone else to try to kill off Tino, and quite frankly, it just doesn't feel you have that.
Carlo just steals the Wisdom Rune right away from Tomato there. He's going for the Mage Slayer next, but I don't know if it's going to end up doing you a whole lot of good here.
Oh.
We'll have to see. Blink Dragon Tail does come out onto the Weaver. Can Whitemon get the ult? He does, and it will only trap the Weaver, able to manage to get out there for the moment. You managed to find one, but Paulo still holding a lot of spells here, ready to go with that Pierce of Veil at any moment. They're playing in good choke points here, which does favor TSM for sure. They just don't have the damage. Tino can just continuously tank here on the front line. We'll glimpse him back into the fight. Dragon Tail does come through. The Remnant does pull that Keeper of the Light back in. The Dragon Knight with that BKB trying to survive as Kasani's there as well, but Paulo's on the Muerta, just shreds right through him. They get the fear as well as it catches Whitemon on the backside of the fight. It's PL versus
No, you
Beastmaster.
can't do it against Tino.
As we know, you can't do any damage to this Beastmaster. He will be able to grab Paulos here most likely, so that will be the Aegis. And Tomato, he's managed drained all of Tino. The question is, can he manage drain the Void Spirit? He has a cheese still available. If they find an opening, maybe you can do something here. Tomato will continue to just regen this one out. He's looking for follows here on the Muerta. Does go in. He needs help. The Dragon Tail out from Brown. Free Fire is there. The heal's in as well. They're managing to do it. Muerta is falling, and they managed to do it finally. It will cost Bryle his life once again as Tomato trying to just juke in and out of this fight, but he's been caught by the Remnant. The mech does come through. Trapped inside this kinetic field. Tino can't chase, but Bob looking to do so as Carlo will dive as well. The Pit of Malice comes out from Kasane. He wants to get active. Ignore the Beastmaster. That's the plan. The static field is back, baby. Void Spirit's gone. Can they stop Tino from TPing? They can, but can they ever kill this guy? The answer, absolutely not. It's never going to happen. You can do this all day, baby.
This is...
Come on,
this
dude.
Can't be real.
Stop.
This can't be real. Why is this hero like this?
Dude, this is Dota2. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Berlin Major.
Come on. Oh my god. They're just going. They're not
gonna stop.
God.
Yo, this is what purgatory is, in case you wondered. You know, you're both trapped here. No one's allowed to actually leave. Tino can't play the game anymore. Again,
they gave up.
No, they didn't give up. It's round 2, baby. Back onto the Beastmaster, but he just continues to heal.
Dude.
He cannot die. All of Execration is respawned, wondering if they should even bother helping the Beastmaster. Tomato turning his attention. He's found Shanks for the moment. Carlo, never mind. Back to the Beastmaster. Okay, looks like we're finally done with this.
Oh my god, dude. How many what's that, what, a minute, 2 minutes? Right?
That's literally almost 2 minutes of this.
I can't. This is the funniest shit. This is just the funniest shit to watch. I'm so happy we got this kind of interaction here. Oh, Palos.
Oh, yeah, they didn't manage to find out, but they jump in on Bob as well. A nice static storm's gonna trap Bob, but he manages to get out. The blinding light, I think, saved him.
Pushed him.
No. He's gone for the moment. Tomato trying to stay and poke this Muerta over and over. I mean, that's the hero you've got to get. She's still got the Pierce the Veil available. The Blink Dragon Tail out from Bryle. They trapped her for the moment. She's going to be able to pop the open, but get shredded. Ignore the Beastmaster. That's the plan. This hero. You know, he's annoying. He doesn't die, but he's not killing anyone either. The glimpse comes out last second from Whitemon. They found Shanks.
Oh, God. Okay, Execration, they've had a little bit too much fun now. They've certainly had a little bit too much fun.
This
so now
is Dota2, baby.
Oh,
oh, Carlo walked right back into a dust. Does get the time lapse away. Bryle trying to find him. You will see him in the bottom side. He's going to hide out in some of these trees. Doesn't look like they will grab him, so he is out. Meanwhile, they are going to go ahead and take the Fiend's Gate bottom. They're going to take
this is great.
Yeah, they're going to take the Tormentor. This is really smart.
Yeah, just take that away from Execration. You've got some momentum behind you on TSM. Execration, they see this,
snipe it.
Bob is getting
this
poked.
Is happening. Caudle gets it instead. He tried his best there to grab it, but not enough.
Yeah, a nice shard to have. You've got the recall to... Again, you can kind of use your Underlord and your Kotl to take these global fights almost. You can take some really weird angles on these ganks. And again, Execration, their main issue now is how vulnerable Palos is. He is just susceptible to just dying when he's jumped. And BKB not enough to save him, down to 6 seconds here as well. And Bob, he's going to have the full Dagon 5. But at this point, like, the main spike that I'm looking for from Execration now is Carlos' timing. He's going into the Ags. So you can do that burst play once on Palos. Can you do it twice over? And that's where I'm a little bit unsure. As long as this Weaver's not caught in Static Storm, this is going to be big.
All right, so I mean, people obviously are probably just like rolling about the Beastmaster scenario here. Now, some people are gonna be like, well, why don't you get Break? Break doesn't really do anything, to be honest. It stops you from gaining stacks for a moment, but it doesn't prevent you from, it doesn't like stop the drums from happening once you've already built the stacks. So essentially the actual counter to this is healing reduction. Things like Scotty, Vessel, Shiva, stuff like that will definitely be the answer for the Beastmaster. And they've already started queuing it up. We've got the Eye of Scotty being built here on the PL, which will do wonders. And the Vessel is built on Whitemon as well. He's just a few hundred gold away. So once they have that, obviously the Beastmaster shenanigans are a lot less likely to be a threat. But, you know, at least we got to enjoy it while it lasted. It was very funny for a few moments. That was what we were really hoping to see. So
it was extremely funny. Now Execration's in a little bit of a hard spot where we did ask this question about scaling, and for TSM, again, as long as they take these fights like this, where you instantly burst down Palos, you ignore Tino completely, and you prevent Bob from just clearing out your supports, then you've got a solid shot. Like, it is a little bit easier to actually pull off for TSM, because, quite frankly, locking in a Muerta isn't that hard.
No, not at all.
It doesn't take too much effort to reach into that squishy frontliner and burst her down. So you've got the answers here. I think Execration, again, the Ags on Carlo, which is flying out now. This is your saving grace. Now you have to force them to try to burst down Palos twice over, which I'm not sure if you're going to be able to do. And that's where it gets a little bit iffy, because they can sustain through these fights, but to have that follow-up control to kill off Palos before Pierce the Veil and BKB can fly on twice over, it doesn't feel like the easiest thing to play into for TSM.
Yeah. Now, it is nighttime, and Roshan will be spawning on the top side of the map. The downside, though, is super long Roche respawn timer, and Execration was positioned really good for this. So, unfortunately for them, they won't really be able to take advantage of that. Ryle did finish up an Aghanim Scepter, which, you know, he is going to get the Black Dragon form at level 18. He's currently only level 16, but that is, like I said, one of the great answers for the Muerta. Just be able to slow her attack speed, as well as just kind of tank a little bit, as you can just kind of fly away. I like it. I think it's probably the better build-up he could have gone this game.
I think for Execration, like, it's a little bit iffy. I feel like you need your Rubik shard as well. Just have these saves, right, to deal with everything that's coming out from TSM. Have this way of pulling back your Muerta, have this way of securely time-lapsing the Muerta, because the counters are coming true. Like that Vessel, as you mentioned, Whitemon's got it, and they're going to smoke here.
I like this.
Tino's not going to be safe.
Ooh. They, you know, kind of get distracted here by the Ancient Black Dragon. They will be able to grab this, which is nice. A little bit 250 gold here for the Dragon Knight. He does have a Blink Dragon Tail available. There is a ward placed on the high ground already. Bryle gets the Dragon Tail there onto the Beast Match, but looks like he wants to back away instead. A little bit afraid here maybe to jump into this. Tino is just getting chipped on the backside of Bryle. BKB's up for the moment. Bob looking a way to enter this fight. And Bryle wants to try and turn this around. I mean, they know there has to be a ward here on the high ground. They are positioned so dang well on the side of Execration. They get Paulus here with the Glimpse. They're going to start sending in some of these illusions from this Phantom Lancer to start working on it. Dude, this Solar Bind is just slowing down Muerta so much.
Time-lapse?
Oh, is that an Axe? Okay, it is, yeah. He's got the Axe time-lapse. Okay, very nice. They go on to Kasane here in the mid lane. He's got the pipe, and the roar comes out. He just gets destroyed. Paulos pops to pierce the veil there. Absolutely just going right through this Underlord's armor. Dude, so much damage.
Still poking and prodding, and I do like this way of fighting on TSM. Again, just very, very conservative, holding your resources back, getting what damage you can out into these fights, but not overcommitting. If you don't see that opening, just don't go in. And the side of Execration are waiting for a moment of weakness, though. They will have that Pierce of Veil back up again. And again, the ads from Carlo doing a lot of work. You will need the max out to not have to worry about the mana, but as long as he's not caught in that Static Storm, you will always have a save. So it's a lot easier for pilots to try to play his game. And they'll just go for Roche. They know that TSM has a hard time going into these fights, so they can kind of just try to see if they force them to go all in here. It can be a little bit awkward.
Rebound runes, but yeah, Aegis, Cheese, and Refresher Shard, very good pickups here for the side of Execration. Is the game pretty close here net worth wise. Bryle does have that level 18 and the Dragon Form. I mean, they could look for an opening. Paulos would be your target. You can't ever really kill this Beastmaster, of course, as you can just tank through pretty much anything as long as the Phantom Lancer is nearby. The Pit of Malice into that Firestorm spam is a lot. Tomato looks for Bob on the side here. Does manage to get the Dissimulate off. Paulos is just running through these heroes instead. He's going to pop the Pierce the Veil. The BKB is out, trying to get the DK. He's actually under the cover of Invis, and they don't see him. Tino now just surrounded, but again, he doesn't really care. The PL can just heal through all of this. And now Brown on the backside running for his life. They managed to take down Where it's a 1. Tino still surviving through it all. His Underlord on the run as well. Bob losing his mana and fast. Tomato is doing work, but he is alone and he needs to run. Telekinesis has caught him under the cover of Invis. He might be able to survive. They don't have the detection, and Carlo goes down. Tomato's alive.
Bro, that's massive. It's not the biggest kill in the world. You're still finding cores, but you're making these fights extra hard. Like, we're seeing the impact of all of this regen nullification coming out from the side of TSM. Like, the Scotty is slowing down the survivability of Tino up front, and it's making it a little bit awkward for Palace as well to kind of get his hits off. He's working onto his own Scotty, definitely needs the stats. The healing reduction will also help the side of Execration here. But a rather even game. Like, they instantly lose the Aegis on the side of Exe, so they're not able to try to go for the high ground. They find only the 1 kill on Bryle, and they just can't go for more. They're going to need to carry detection around now. They do have the gem on Shanks, but the PL's just so quick. Just runs way too fast when he does get that old juxtapose active on.
Yeah. Dude, I love Doppelwalk, man. This thing is so good. That was like such a crazy ability for so long. I don't know how it like made its way back into the game, but they did it.
Yeah.
He's got himself a Titan Sliver as well, so that's going to help out quite a bit.
It's really hard to pin down Tomato. And that's kind of what's keeping them in the game, because Execration, they know they can't just frontline with Tino forever. They need some follow-through. We'll go for a smoke play, though.
I mean, Tomato will get that 25 here relatively soon, and that is one of those talents that makes PL very, very, very strong. Oh, they've got an opening here. Who are they going to find? It's Kasane, but they also managed to find Ari on the backside. The roar is there, and Paulos makes quick work of the two of them as they are looking for Whitemon as well. He drops the kinetic field. They get the fear, sends him up onto the high ground, trying to just get away. Gets the glimpse, but he's able to dodge there with the Dissimulate, and Bob continuing to chase. Astral Step in 1, and Whitemon goes down. 3 dead from the side of TSM. As they're right outside the high ground here, as they've got a wave pushing in.
This has to be their opening. They have to take this opportunity now to take some high ground control. There's only so much you can do with your PL and DK, but you are fairly low on Palos, so this is a bit of a risk. Even if he gets time-lapse back, it's not a lot of HP to play with at the moment.
It is so scary. They're doing so much work here. They're going to try and start get to work here on this Muerta, but the Rax is gone. Execration will crack the high ground first, and with that, continuing to pull away here.
It's getting, again, like the style that TSM has to take to go into these fights. It's awkward angles. It's prolonged fights. It's trying to burst down Palace, and if you don't, then you just revert to poking and prodding, which isn't the comfiest. It doesn't make you feel like you're in control, right? Because you're just waiting. You're sitting and waiting, constantly dropping these heroes down, seeing if they force out any spells and jump on that opportunity. But TSM have been doing a pretty damn good job at playing that anyway. Like, they've found some punishment. They're keeping themselves in this game. They've got the full Mage Slayer up for Tomato, so he can run in, mitigate some of that output now. They're working on the Ags for Ari. That gives them a little bit more team fight to pile on as well. But Execration, they're feeling confident. They're still trying to take control, maybe looking for that push.
Paulos managed to get the initiation on the Brile, but he gets the BKB off, and with that, Paulos actually needs to be a little bit careful. A good reinitiation. They look for Whitemon on the side. The Silence does connect onto Carlos. Tomato's just trying to find his opening here. He's not going to be able to bring down the Weaver alone. Let's go Invis here with the Doppelwalk. They do manage to find him. They taunt him back in. A big static storm and kinetic field holding in place, and where to force the BKB. Disarm for the moment. There's the Pierce the Veil, though. They turn it around, and the Underlord goes down. Brile needs to be careful. That was the refresher popped as well. They buy back here on the Underlord. Tomato's trying to get in. They find the Beastmaster, but he gets time-lapse back. He's all isolated, and this time they will finally bring down Tino. He can't heal through all of that, and they're looking for Carlo as well. They've got the Spirit Vessel wearing him down, as Brile's going to be able to just continue to run through these heroes. They get a decent defense here. It forced a buyback out of Kasane, but some signs of life from TSM.
It's, again, another choke point where all your spells just feel so impactful. The healing coming out from Ari in the backline is actually the big troublemaker, because you can't just burst now. When that Coddle is just standing at the back with a Spirit form, the sustain coming out on such tanky heroes already is making these fights for Execration that much tougher. And they've got to be able to burst it back. And as long as TSM protect their own backline, you're in good hands, because the Static Storms are forcing out a lot of spell uses. Again, the Spirit form is just insane in these choke points when it's landing on literally every hero. And Execration, it's kind of down to Bob. Like, Bob has to be the one hunting the back. And he has been trying, but the burst damage, it does feel like it's tapered off a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Mid lane Tomato will grab this wave to try and prevent the push. They've got to push through top, but instead they're actually going to try and just find the Phantom Lancer here all alone. Gets the Doppel, what is this thing? Doppelganger. There's so many Doppels. Out of way. They're going to try and just fort this tier 2 tower and see if they can actually take a defense here. Paulos needs to be careful because Brile is ready to go here on the high ground. As if they find the opening, Bob goes in, does not manage to find.
Forcing some resources out from Exa. They will go back for the Tormentor, and now you have that Rubik Shard. So again, this is where more saves can come out. Just the left back is going to be pretty damn impactful as well, combined with the time lapse. So again, more ways to just protect Palos, but and TSM, these off angles are just really hard to read into. Like, it's chaotic fights. There's a lot going on, and that's exactly what TSM wants. You know, force them in and out, hold them in a single spot without them jumping onto you, and again, just allow the PL to cut them down slowly but surely. What the output you have, like the Bloodtorn just feels massive, as you are running out of BKB duration in a lot of your cores. You don't even have anything like a BKB on Bob. Still going for his Sanj and Kaya's Sanj. No stat resist to play with there as well. A 4K lead holding for X, but honestly, this game is dead even. This is a very dead even game now.
Any hero is kind of vulnerable at this point. Like, I don't think like this Beastmaster is, you know, in super tank anymore thanks to the Scotty that came through is from Tomato. As well as the Vessel. Like, he has his BKB to survive, but Brile is surprisingly tanky now as well, like trying to survive through this Muerta burst. He's okay, and a lot of that's because Muerta had to go for a couple defensive items, right? Like, she went back for the BKB, she has the Silver Edge, of course, to try and, you know, survive some of these initiations, and had to consume her Moon Shard, but she actually queues up another one, so I'm curious if that's going to end up being completed or not.
Trying to smoke play here.
They will see Carlo for the moment. Brile thinking of going in. They do have a Hawk flying in though, which will provide a ton of vision, so they know exactly what's going on here. Brile has to clean that one up. Dude, it's super tense here. Both teams know Roche could be up at any moment, so they are just playing for that objective. It will be the 4th Roche on. Brile will hide in the trees here under the cover of this Black Dragon. Rubik doing a really good job with this Doppelganger, just trying to scout out and provide some vision himself. Tino, under the cover of smoke here. Ryle might pop it if he gets close enough. They will scout him into the trees, so he needs to be a little bit careful. Try and just clean up this Ancient Granite Golem for now. Tomato will send some creeps onto it as well. The Boots of the Bearing to try and get it out of dodge as they're going for the wraparound instead. And this could be huge if they find Whitemon. Instead, they're going to be able to jump in right on top of Kasane, and Paulos just initiates, cleans him up. And it's going to be a dieback on that hero. And Tomato, he's completely open on the backside. He needs to get out of here. The roar comes through. Can he survive? The telekinesis as well. Tomato goes down. He's going to buy back. Ryle has his BKB. They're looking for Whitemon as well. The Dagon's going to clean him up. Buybacks coming through from all of TSM's heroes. They need to find their opening in this fight. He gets the Bloodthorn here onto this Weaver, but he survives. He's going to time-lapse out. And Whitemon's going to get chased down from Paulos. Instead, it's a triple kill for the Huerta, and Tomato's falling low. Ryle's down as well. Execration looking to close out this game. It's an ultra kill for Paulos, and TSM may have just lost everything.
That was not the fight to take for TSM. Again, all those pokes, all those prodding from Execration, they didn't have Spirit Form on Ahri. Like, that was the big difference maker in that fight near the Tormentor down bot. They didn't have that consistent heal. So when the jump comes in, you don't even have to care about the Cobbler. You can kill off Kasane first, take away that Atrophy aura, take away the Firestorm burning you down. You're still trying to chase down Ahri, a little bit of a hard target to pin down, but you've got the kill advantage. You can just go for the racks, and you push insanely fast. This is still a Beastmaster. So you're melting towers once you're on top of them. Ahri's doing a good job of just trying to cut off bot, at the least. This should stall out on the tier 2, but it won't stop top. Like, look at that massive wave they've made up here. And you've got the Granite Golem as well for more durability. And without Tomato around, this is not a fight you take at all.
I mean, they're just gonna go straight for the
Divine.
Straight for the
Balos.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that's the play, right? A lot of late game Huerta is just going the Divine Rapier. And now that he has an Aegis to protect him, why the heck not? TSM still waiting for their Phantom Lancer for another 40 seconds. You've got to get through this Huerta twice. I don't know how you're going to do it. Ryle in the trees here will scout Bob. He does get the initiation. He does have a way out. Yeah, telekinesis, but the time lapse just sends him right back in instead. He's just so tanky. Meanwhile, your throne is just exposed, and Paulos just doesn't care. That's what he's going for. Never mind, there's going to be the Pierce the Veil. The BKB is not going to be enough to protect you as Ryle forced back into the base. And Huerta will finish this game off with ease, it seems. 8 seconds still waiting. Another refresher. He just can't be stopped. Paulos, absolute beast here on this Huerta, and TSM will drop game number 1 here in an incredibly important series.
Yeah, that's massive for Execration, right? First win for them after a very rough start to the group stages here. It sets a good tone. Whether or not they can